I hear a lot of people talk about how the dating pool sucks and men are all trash, everyone's a cheater, there's no good people out there, and that has not been my experience at all. So let's talk about it. How do you attract a good partner, and how do you discern who is a healthy partner? You limit your capacity to be loved when you don't love yourself. Because if you speak negatively to yourself and you don't treat yourself well the majority of the time, and then you meet someone who sometimes doesn't speak to you kindly, sometimes treats you badly, that's gonna feel like love to you because it's better than how you treat yourself. So however well you treat yourself is what you're willing to tolerate, because however you treat yourself, if someone comes in and treats you just a little bit better than that, that's gonna feel like love to you, that's gonna feel good to you, that's gonna feel better than being alone with yourself, and you're gonna accept that as love. And we get to choose what type of love we wanna receive, if we want to receive unconditional love, if we want to be accepted and not criticized, and you get to choose that by how you treat yourself. So however worthy you feel and however much you love yourself, however well you treat yourself, that's kind of setting your standard for the love that you would allow into your life. And so the more that you're able to raise that bar and feel more worthy and treat yourself better and speak kindly to yourself, the more you are going to attract a healthy partner and not tolerate anything less. If you can treat yourself really well and really love yourself and really just love spending time with yourself and be so kind to yourself and uplift yourself, you wouldn't want to let anyone into your life who gives you any less than that. We get to choose the love that we're going to accept and the level of kindness and gentleness that we're going to accept. And it's a lot easier to not accept something unhealthy if you're already treating yourself so well, because you're really going to recognize that difference and realize that you feel better alone. If you like someone and you don't feel worthy of them, observe why is it that you don't feel worthy? What are the parts of yourself that you don't accept or that you don't think are good enough? And work on changing your self-concept and the way that you perceive yourself. Or if someone rejects you, observe why you think they rejected you. One time I was really drunk and I cried in front of this guy I liked about my crazy roommate who was ruining my life. And when that didn't end up working out, I attributed it to me crying, and I was like, oh, he probably doesn't like me because I cried in front of him. But that's just because I was always insecure about expressing emotions and like being an emotional person in front of people or having negative emotions in front of people. Like I thought that that made me less worthy and less valuable and would make people reject me. So whatever it is that you think people would reject you for, or that you think people have rejected you for, you can use that to learn about yourself and to heal that part of yourself and to accept those things about yourself so that you have a healthier relationship with yourself. Also, if you tend to attract a lot of avoidance, I think that this happens when we avoid our own feelings and we are avoidant with ourselves. Certain parts of our lives or certain parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at. A lot of times when we attract avoidance, it's because we're not very open and expressive and honest with ourselves, and we're not really looking at reality, or we're not facing our emotions. I do think that a lot of times the universe will give us more than we feel deserving of, and will give us a love or a partner that is healthier than we feel deserving or worthy of. But if you really want to ensure that you are ending up with a healthy partner, then it's really important to love yourself and to increase your level of self-worth. And the ways that I've been able to increase my self-love are through affirmations, through observing my negative self-talk and trying to rewire that, keeping the promises that I make to myself and actually following through on the things that I want and the dreams that I have, and building that trust and that confidence with yourself, I think is so important. And then also taking really good care of yourself physically, like taking good care of your physical body and eating enough, sleeping enough, and also walking away from people who mistreat you in situations that are bad for you, situations that are making you unhappy. Basically, I think it's really helpful to act like you love yourself even if you don't feel that way yet, and the more that you take those actions, the more that you're gonna actually feel it. And also, I just want to say that loving yourself and healing is not about fixing yourself. It's really about learning to love and accept all parts of yourself, and that's how we actually heal and fix ourselves. It's not like something is wrong with you because you don't love yourself or you don't express yourself. And those are not things that you need to fix. It's really about uncovering who you really are, your authentic self, and embodying that more. It's just like tapping into the truth of who you are and learning to love and accept that. I feel like sometimes we get caught up thinking that there's something wrong with us that we need to fix as we're trying to heal ourselves. but really it's not about fixing yourself, it's about accepting yourself and just getting closer to who you actually are, and just removing all of the things like the societal conditioning or the past experiences you've had that are preventing you from being that way. I think it's so important to become the partner that you want. If you wouldn't want to date yourself, then you're probably not ready to be dating yet. Whatever it is that you want in someone else and you're looking for in someone else, not only do you need to give that to yourself and treat yourself in that way and take care of yourself in that way, but also realize that you can already be that and you can already be that person for yourself. And if you want to attract someone like that, you should be like that. Give yourself all of the things that you would want from a partner. Treat yourself how you would want a partner to treat you, but also embody all of the traits that you are looking for in someone else, because they are within you if you're admiring them and if you're wanting them. Once you're able to do this, you're not really going to be desperate for a partner. And also be your authentic self, because if you want someone who is honest and authentic, then you have to be that way too. If you're going to show up with a mask and pretending to be a certain way, then you're going to attract someone who is also doing that. And I don't know why you would want to be in a relationship anyway where you're having to pretend to be a certain version of you and you're not comfortable fully being yourself, because that would just be really hard to live like that for years. If you want someone who is really authentic and open and honest and good at communicating, then you need to be open and honest and good at communicating and show up as your authentic self. Make sure that you're reaching your own standards. I also think it's really important to believe that good people exist, believe that your dream partner exists, believe that every single standard that you have will be met and exceeded. I feel like a lot of people just don't even believe that they're going to attract a good person, and they doubt that it even exists. And so then you're kind of coming at it from this like lack and scarcity mindset, and you're limiting what is possible in your life. If you can become the partner that you're looking for and you exist, then they can exist too. Just because you haven't seen proof of something yet doesn't mean that it's not there. All you need is one person that can come into your life at any second. Just because it hasn't come in yet doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's like when you're searching for an apartment and you can never find the right one and you're worried that it doesn't exist, but then you end up finding the perfect one, and all you needed was one, and just because you hadn't seen it yet doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Or when you're looking for a job and you can't find one and nothing is working out, but then suddenly one comes into your life. We only need one of these things, and it can come into our life at any moment. If the universe sends you someone that you don't want, someone that doesn't meet up to your standards, reject them and be like, no, I don't want this. I'm gonna wait for something better. And I swear every time you do that, the universe will send something better. And I really feel like dating just teaches you what you want and helps you add to that list of what you want. And I keep meeting people who check off every single box on my list of really high standards, but then they help me realize, actually, I want to add some more things to my list. Actually, I'm looking for even more than this. And that's really what my experience of dating has been like. And I have this really strong belief that I can attract people who meet my standards and who are really good, amazing people. I don't think that I need to settle. I don't think anyone needs to settle. I think if you say, universe, I don't want this, I want something better, the universe is going to send you something better. And it might take some time, it might take months, it might take years. This always happens to me with friendships. I'll end friendships that are unhealthy and then have a period of loneliness and wondering if I'm gonna find something better, but I always do. So if you don't want it, if the universe keeps sending you the same type of person, make sure that you are rejecting them. Make sure that you're not entertaining this, and wait for something better to come in and tell the universe what you want. So literally decide what you want, create a long ass list of what you want, and believe that you can have every single thing on that list and more, and don't settle until you get it. And when I met my ex, I felt that way. I felt like he really exceeded all the things on my list, but now I've just grown so much and evolved past that version of me so much that my list is way bigger and I'm just way healthier and love myself so much more. When I like someone, I'll imagine the relationship that I want to have with them, and I'll imagine them treating me really well and doing nice things for me and having great conversations. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just delusional and it's fun for me and it entertains me, but make sure that reality is matching up to your vision of what you want. Even if I'm imagining a specific person being what I want, I'm not attached to it being that specific person. if they show me that that's not who they are and it's not matching up to their actions, then I'll move on. Make sure that you are really looking at reality and grounded in reality, because we have a confirmation bias, so you will tend to notice evidence that confirms whatever it is that you believe and disregard evidence that doesn't match up with your beliefs. So if you create this belief that someone is a good person and you get really attached to that version of reality, it's going to be harder for you to notice red flags and to really take them into account if you're invested in this certain vision that you have of reality. So make sure that you're staying open to really looking at the facts, really look at their actions, not their words, because a lot of people can be really good with their words, but I think that actions show you who people really are. I'm someone who is so honest. I always say what I mean. I always say what I feel. I always speak very honestly and bluntly. And so I tend to assume that everyone else does too, and that people mean what they say, but that's really not true. Most people are not like that. But yeah, make sure that you're looking at people's actions, because it's going to tell you a lot more about who they are, because a lot of people are not truthful and are good with their words, or maybe they have good intentions, but that really doesn't matter if they can't act on that and be the person that they say they are. Don't get attached to just one person being what you want and cling on to that. There's billions of people out there. If someone is not treating you how you deserve, if someone is not meeting up to your standards, move on, don't settle, and I promise you the universe will give you something better. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you're ready to heal your anxiety and trauma responses and work through your emotions in a healthy way, I recommend getting this Processing Emotions workbook. I believe that we relive our trauma until we heal it. So if you keep having experiences of abandonment, of betrayal, of grief, like chronic illness or loss, or experiences of shame, all of these are emotions and experiences that you need to face and fully feel the pain of them. And once you're able to do that, you will heal your association with these things and finally release these old stored emotions from your body, and they'll stop popping up in your life as lessons. You won't be triggered anymore. You won't have trauma responses. You won't have anxiety or fear, pain in the future, because you will have shown yourself that you can experience pain and fully feel it and bounce back from it.